Woo. Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy, one physical therapist assistant. Oh, man. Back to the groove, back into my groove. Oh, man. Hope y'all doing all right today, y'all. Hope y'all doing okay. Hey, yo, today I met a former grave digger. Anybody know any grave diggers? I met a former grave digger who told me he dug graves for 40 years, digging graves. He said he used to do it by hand, and then he started doing it with the machinery. I said, really? He was like, yep. I said, that is interesting. I was like, you ever got any interesting, weird stories about working in the cemetery digging graves? He was like, no. He was like, one time I scared this young boy. I was like, what? He said he scared this young boy. He said he was laying down. He played a trick on one of the young new workers. He said he was laying down next to a grave and the boy couldn't see him. And he said, dude walked by. He was getting ready to do some, some sweeping or something, or raking near the grave. He said he grabbed his leg. I said, man, I would have I'd have had a heart attack if you did that. He said he scared the crap out of that young boy. But he said other than that, it was just a normal job. But he said he loved doing it. He said he would still do it if he could. I think this young man is in his 80s. I want to say he was in his 80s. Told me he was doing it back in 1964. I wrote it down how much he used to make digging graves. How much do you think a grave digger made in 1964 an hour? Grave digger. I'm talking shovel. Shovel grave digger. 1964, my man told me he made $1.90 an hour digging graves. That's right, you heard that. $1.90 per hour digging graves. That was back in 1964. But he told me that he retired in 2008. I think he started doing it well beyond the retirement age. He said he stopped doing it in 2008. He said 2008 he got up to $17 an hour. From $1.90 back in 1964 an hour to $17 an hour in 2008. Wow. Digging graves. He said he thinks right about now you could probably make about $25 an hour doing it. I said, man, that's amazing. Digging graves. Oh, man. Interesting. There's a few interesting people today, y'all. I met a lawyer. Oh, man. I met a lawyer. I like asking lawyers lawyer questions. I'm actually dealing with a little issue. It's a little issue. It's not a big issue. But I live in a housing development, and my homeowners association, HOA, I don't know if any of y'all have an HOA, I'm not going to say they've been tripping lately. I'm just going to say they not living up to my expectations. I've never really used them. I've been in my crib 18 years. I've never really needed the homeowners association for anything. You know, I pay my dues. I'm always on time with my dues. All right. I'm a good community citizen. But hear me out. I've been in my crib 18 years. 13 years after I moved into my crib, the homeowners association decided to hire someone to plant trees in the common area. You know how you got homeowners association, you got a development, you might have a common area. There might be a pool, there might be some grass, there might be some trees, there might be just an area they want to keep as, wooded, shaded, whatever. Well, my house is right next to a common area. And they decided to plant some new trees in the common area right next to my property line. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know if you understand what happens to trees when you plant them. They grow. What happens when you plant a tree? It's going to do what a tree is supposed to do. It's going to grow. Well, the trees in my common area started to grow over onto my property, over my property line, and onto my shed. I had no problem with it growing over on the property line. Okay, it's a tree. It's beautiful nature. We need trees to breathe. We need the CO2. Okay, no problem. But one tree in particular started growing into my shed. So it's growing into the roof of my shed, damaging the roof of my shed, blocking the door to my shed for me to get to my lawnmower and stuff. So I emailed the HOA, hey man, this tree is tripping, it's growing. Can y'all trim it? Y'all planted these trees 13 years after I lived here. Ain't y'all supposed to upkeep them and make sure they're not messing up the neighbor's property? Well, HOA told me, one person emailed me and said, you know what, you watched that tree grow, it's on your property, you should have cut it. You supposed to be, it's your responsibility. Ho, wait a minute. My responsibility if I planted said tree. But anyway, I asked the lawyer patient that I had today, he's in his 70s, and I asked him, I said, hey man, what do you think? You think I should talk to a lawyer about this? Because they act like they ain't trying to trim this tree that's cutting into my shed. And I asked him that, and he was like, well, you know what, to be honest with you, it's probably best you go ahead and get it cut, because I got a feeling you're going to eat those costs one way or another. He said if they don't do it and you go to hire a lawyer, you're probably going to pay more for the lawyer than just going to pay and get the actual tree just cut. So I'm in a lose-lose situation, y'all. So I got to trim the daggone tree. So yeah, that's what the lawyer told me. To make a long story short, lawyer told me, he was like, nah, go ahead. Don't even mess with no lawyer. Oh man. But anyway, y'all, today's video, y'all, I'm talking about a lady that I met, man. Beautiful lady in her late 90s. Beautiful lady in her late 90s. I always ask my late 90s people, what are you going to do when you turn 100? And you know what she told me? She said, well, I don't want to turn 100. So that's what they always say, man. When they get up in that age, close to that age range, they be like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need any more life. Oh man, must be an interesting feeling. But, you know, this lady told me she used to do 97 years old. She's 97 years old. I meet a lot of people who used to do this, used to work for the telephone company. She said she was the operator. Now, I don't remember this time. Y'all, anybody older, you tell me if you remember this time. Tell me the time where you can remember having a phone and you just pick up the phone and you get the operator. You don't have to dial any numbers. You just pick up the phone and you get the operator. I said, what? She was like, yeah, that was my job. I was the operator. She was like, when you pick up the phone, you get a light on the switchboard or something, and she would answer that call. I was like, so what did you have to dial? She was like, dial? What are you talking about? She's like, you didn't have them yet. I'm young and I'm old enough to remember having the spin dial, you know, the number, you put your finger in, touch the number, and bring, bring. You had to do that. I remember that, and then I remember button dials. But I remember the operator. I remember having to push 0 for the operator. But she was like, nah, she was doing it way, way before then. Interesting lady, man, worked for the telephone company. She said she worked for the company when it was called CMP. CMP turned into Bell Atlantic. Bell Atlantic turned into Verizon. I don't know how or why, but I want to turn this into an investing lesson. I want to turn this into an investing lesson, even though we didn't talk about investing. I told her I own a few shares in her company, which is Verizon. And she said, yeah, well, they've been around for a long time, but they just changed the name. It used to be CMP, or was it AMP? I don't know. Maybe CMP. And then they turned to Bell Atlantic, and you also have Bell, Pennsylvania, and then it just turned into a conglomerate called Verizon, I guess. But she worked for them when it was CMP Telephone Company. And she said she liked her job, did it for over 30 years. I'm turning this into an investing lesson because just think about that. If you can own a company and they go through transitions, they go through so many transitions and change their name, and with inflation and costs going up, that company is making money for you as a shareholder. And you sit back and do absolutely nothing but let them operate. Let them operate. Let the greed do its thing. This is why I love to invest. I invest in other people's greed. I invest in other human beings' greed because I understand that it's one of the most powerful forces on planet Earth. Greed, one of the most powerful forces. And when you have a company like that, a company that encompasses so many people's lives, that touches so many people's lives, it might be worth investing in, even though it's not the best investment. I own shares of the company because I like the dividend. I am a dividend investor. I like investing in dividend stocks. That's what I like to do. And Verizon is a good one. They pay a good dividend. But yeah, I don't know how this turned into an investing lesson. I just felt like sharing it with you. This lady was giving me some history. 97, grew up on a farm. You know the drill. Always the farmers. She told me she did that. She told me she can remember a time. I'm in the state of Maryland. She told me she can remember a time when people would ice skate on the river. There's a river in this part of Maryland called Tuckahoe River. I don't know if you ever heard of it. Tuckahoe. Yeah. That's a funny name. Tuckahoe. There's a state park called Tuckahoe Park, and the river is called Tuckahoe River. It's a big river. I think it's connected to Chop Tank River. But she told me she remembers way back when people would ice skate on the river. When's the last time you saw anybody ice skating on the river? I don't know. She said that she hasn't seen it lately because she doesn't think it gets cold enough. That might have to do with global warming. I don't know. I don't know. But she said, yeah, they used to do that way back in the day. Ice skate on the river. And I'm talking about, like she said, they used to skate for miles. Like they used to go to different towns from the river. From ice skating on the river, they used to travel through different towns and counties. I'm talking about long distances on the river. That's interesting. She told me she remembers when she was telling me about her religion. I think she's Baptist, I believe. She was telling me about the town she lived in. They had the black church and the white church. And she was telling me that there was a cemetery right in between a black church and a white church. And she said they got along. She said, everybody knew each other. They just couldn't commingle. Just weird. Just weird. But it was during that time. But y'all, I just wanted to share a lesson with you. Just wanted to share a lesson. Like I said, she's not even an investor. I'm actually an investor in her company she worked for. But just to hear that back in 1964, you were the operator and you were plugging and you were answering lights on a switchboard to where we at now, that's a lesson in long-term investing. That's a lesson in it. So just think about any companies you own right now. If you own some of the, biggest of the bigs. Let's take an artificial intelligence company. Like, you're watching this on YouTube, so you're using Google, right? And Google is working on artificial intelligence. They have their own version of it. And just imagine where Google was before, being a search engine, and then bought YouTube. And now you're watching YouTube videos on this platform. They're dabbling in artificial intelligence. I'm just painting a picture using her example. Like in 1964, where she was plugging switchboards and answering lights on a switchboard for people to talk to an operator, to where we are now. Just imagine if you own a good company, just a name, like I said, take Google for example. I'm not telling you to invest in Google. I am a shareholder of Google, but just imagine what they'll be doing for human beings. It's 2025. Just imagine what they'll be doing for human beings 2045, 55, 65, 35. Just imagine. That's why you want to be a long-term investor. Let them work for you. Let them work for you. Invest in other people's greed. That's how I see it. Oh, man. Well, she was a real cute lady. She was telling me a lot of stories. A whole lot of stories. She said they used to ice skate from Talbot County to Caroline County on the river. Can you imagine? She told me there's this one place I can't remember the town in Maryland, but she lived through 3 different bridges. What I mean by that is there's a bridge that connects, I think that's the bridge, connect Talbot and Caroline County. I think she was telling me that. And the first bridge she remembers when she was younger was completely wooden. And she said it was rickety wood. She said you ride across that bridge would shake. And then they got rid of that bridge, built a better one. and then built another one. This is over a span. This is decades. This is decades. She's watched 3 bridges get built. I love the wisdom. I love the history, y'all. I love the history lessons. I actually get paid to listen to this stuff. Can't believe it. I can't believe it. But anyway, y'all, it's your boy, one physical therapist assistant. It feels good to be back, sharing stories, sharing the wisdom, learning myself, applying it as best as I can. So I appreciate you for coming through. As always, man, as always, respect your elders. Please respect your elders. Please help them out whenever you get a chance. Be good humans, and I will holler at y'all in the next video.